you very much for your time.
Thank you too for giving me the opportunity to interact with you.
Right, grateful. Coach, I wonder when you work in such a special environment, how does it go along with to help your job?
So many varied ways. I mean, if you look at the setup of WAFA, here the players are brought in as early as at age 12, where they are taught the basics in football, passing, receiving, turning, dribbling, all those technical aspects, tactical aspects, then the physical component of the game, trying to build them physically. So if you look at the setup here, basically it's about teaching and coaching football. So you need to let them understand why they do certain technical exercises or tactical exercises. And because of that, as a coach, you always have to be abreast with the modern trends of the game. And these very 13, 12-year-old boys now graduate into the under 15, into the under 17, and into the first team. And the philosophy, I mean, the approach to coaching and playing the game at all these developmental levels are the same. So when finally they graduate into the senior team, it's easy for them to fit into the style. So if you look at the playing style, if the under 12s are playing, if the under 15s are playing, if the under 17s are playing, and then you compare it to the senior team, which is the first team, you see that there's no difference. It's like a photocopy. So the transition is such that it's smooth because the ideas are transferred from one age group to the next. So it's an interesting environment. I mean, being at WAFA, if I look at it compared to Elimina Sharks, Dwarfs, where I've coached, you see, they don't have these developmental levels. So here the approach is a little bit different and it's interesting. In fact, I must confess, I thought I knew, but when I came here, I realized that I had to learn more. So it's interesting.
All right, Coach, a strong start of the season. The season is young so far. We have about 20 games to go. What have been your highlights so far?
A lot. I think if you look at our match against Chelsea, Brecum Chelsea, if you look at our match against 11 Wonders, and even our match against Mediama, where by the end of the first half we were leading by 4-0. I mean, it was so nice. Unfortunately, they came back strongly in the second half, and we had to win by 5-4. But then I think so far, I would say that my best game has been the game against Brecum Chelsea. They were well drilled, technically, tactically. They played us boot for boot, and it brought the best out of my boys. So, so far, I think that has been the most outstanding game as far as this season is concerned.
In terms of getting coaching staff for your team, I believe that each and every person have qualities that they want. The criteria is there for you. What kind of criteria do you look out for, your set values for selecting an assistant coach or your coaching staff?
Yeah, the first one I'll look at is your game intelligence, your understanding of the game. I mean, how you are able to read and analyze the game. I'll also look at issues of integrity, being honest and upright. You know, as a coach, you need to always let players know what the reality is, so that they will know that this is their standard at every point in time. So I'll look at how honest you are. Issues of punctuality. When we say training time is 2:30, we are starting 2:30. It means by 2 o'clock, you have to be there. And I'll also look at issues of communication, how you are able to communicate the content of the training to the players, because every exercise you do, you have to let the players understand why they are going to do that. So as an assistant coach, if I delegate responsibilities to you, you should be able to explain to them why they are doing that particular technical or tactical or physical exercise, so that it will motivate them or it will encourage them to give out their best. So these are many others, but the most important one I will look at is your game intelligence, because you should be able to read and analyze the game, so that whilst I am on the hot seat, you will be able to look at certain things that, or you'll be able to see certain things that, because I'm in the hot seat, I cannot see, so that you inform me to be able to direct the players on the field. But if you are behind me and you can't see, and I'm the only one who sees, it means the load will be too much on me. So I always look at an assistant who understands the game, who will be able to read, analyze, and then inform me as to what to do. So such an assistant, even when it comes to the designing of the training program for the week, he will play a crucial role because he has the knowledge. So when you sit down that, okay, Tuesday, Monday is recovery, we want to do this, that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he will be able to make input by telling you that, okay, coach, I think this one in the game, I saw this. So let's try as much as possible to incorporate this. For instance, maybe the wing player was always, the wing attacker was always dribbling in, but nobody was overlapping or underlapping for him to combine with him. I mean, if the assistant was able to identify this, he would tell me that we should design situational contests as a training program to elicit that response. So if the assistant doesn't have that eye to be able to identify these things in the game, I mean, it means that more or less you are working alone. It's better you had no assistant.
All right, coach. One thing that is mind-boggling in this country is about age.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of ages people used to give to positions and everything. Does age matters to you when it comes to selecting your coaching staff?
Yeah, age must come with experience. So if the person, let's say, is older and has the experience, then I think it's a plus, because exposure and experience are key when it comes to coaching. But then if the person is young and doesn't have the experience, but then has the technical know-how, his depth of understanding of the game is beyond comprehension, I think we need to give such a person the opportunity. So I normally don't consider age as an issue. I have worked with an assistant coach who was more or less a father to me, Coach JP, formerly of Dwarfs. I was with him at Eliminashas. He was my assistant. And more or less, he was a father to me. He was so many times older than me. But then he realized that I gave him that much respect, so he also respected me. So even though we're working like father and son, when it came to the job itself, the technical aspect, there wasn't anything like age as an interference. He respected me as a young person being a head coach, and I also respected him as an experienced coach who has coached at where I was now coaching and has the know-how to be able to guide me from behind. So age to me is not an issue. But then if the coach is younger, it means that there will be more time for him to learn on the job, which is good for the game, because the longer you stay in a profession, the more experience you become on the job.
Coach, if a young Prosper is sitting in this chair, who wants to become like Dr. Prosperity, what would be your advice for the young Prosper?
I would tell him, that person, that young gentleman, to have an open and inquiring mind, where the quest for knowledge will be the prime of his passion, because different things happen in the game as the game unfolds every day, in and out. So if you don't have an open and inquiring mind, which will drive you on to be able to look for information to keep you abreast with the modern trends of the game, you can't cope. You can't cope. You'll still be, you'll be in a wonderland. You'll be in a dreamland. Things will take you unexpectedly. So to me, I would say that any young and upcoming coach should have an open and inquiring mind. He has to be, that coach should be humble. He should be down to earth. He should be ready to listen. Let me give you an example. I remember when I was with Dwarfs and a group of supporters met me after a match. I think we lost the match. I think it was against Mediama or Bechim. We lost the match and they were trying to share their opinions about the match to me. And I stood there for that long and listened to them. Now, one man was part of it, and you know what he said? He said, you know why I like you? Whatever we tell you, since you joined Dwarfs, whatever we tell you, whether it's good or it's bad, you have the patience to listen to us. Then you know what I told him? When I listen, I go back, and what I think is beneficial to me, I pick it. So if I don't have time and the patience for you to finish your narratives, how would I be able to pick the important cues from what you have told me? Yeah, so you need to have an open and inquiring mind, and you need to be patient and humble on the job. These are the only things that will help a young and upcoming coach to rise to the top.
Every manager coach deals with setback at a point, deals with defeat. How do you put these things together when there's a defeat to bounce back to the field?
It's easy for me. Normally, I go into the game thinking that I can win, I can draw, I can lose. Yeah, so when it happens that I lose a game, what I do is quickly I try to write down what led to the loss, and then I reflect over them as to what I can do to correct them in my next training session or in my next training week. Once I'm able to do that, then all that I tell myself is that it's game over. Don't brood over it too much, because it will take a greater part of your attentional control, which will distract me from focusing on the next training week bout. So quickly I try to let it go. And normally I give an example like a lawyer and a doctor, where a doctor, whether consciously or unconsciously, loses a patient. If that doctor should brood over the loss of that patient, he can concentrate on prospective patients and cure them. There will be more deaths, which is not good. Similarly, if you are a lawyer and you go to court and you lose a case, you pick the important cues and then focus on the next cases. If you focus so much on the defeat, on that case you have lost, you can't win further cases. So that is how I also relate them to my coaching. When I lose, I pick the important cues. What led to my loss, especially the key ones. Then once I'm able to pick them, immediately I try to design situational context with respect to training. Once I do that on my playing sheets and I get them into my file, it's game over and I forget about it.
Thank you very much, Coach. People don't have play sheets, but you have play sheets to do all the things you have to do. There is this thing about Wafa. Everybody knows the teams. The team is an academy. And basically, academies are based on taking players elsewhere, market business. That's football. But we have a Sek Mimosa who are taking league elsewhere, champions of the Côte d'Ivoire league. Are we going forward to see Wafa being league champions one day?
Sure, I see it that way. I see it that way in the sense that if, for instance, we are able to keep players for a season or two, then issues of experience will come. You know, when you have a lot of debutants in your team, experience become a key issue. So if with time, the school, here we call it a football school, the school can keep players who enter the first team for 1 or 2 years, then they will gain the experience and they will be able to win the league. By the situation where every year, players leave even when the season is ongoing, it becomes difficult to have a standing team. Every time you are changing the team, every time you are changing the team. And as a coach, with time you need to have a standing team, a team that when you wake up, you can easily, list your first starting 11 to play. So I think the ASEC Mimosa issue you are talking about, because they keep some of these players for 2-3 seasons. And because they keep them for 2-3 seasons, they gain the experience, they gain the confidence, they gain a deeper understanding of the technical and the tactical approach to each game. But in our case, 17, 18, they come, and because we are affiliated to so many agencies, football agencies, the moment they see their videos on our YouTube or whatever page, the moment they see them quickly, they link up with our technical director, and the next moment they are gone. And actually that is one of the fundamental reasons for the establishment of this school. The idea is develop them, give them the opportunity to showcase their talent, and if they are seen, give them the opportunity to go out. Don't keep them here. And that has been the philosophy behind the establishment of the school for the past 21 years.
Coach, let's talk about Daniel Omote, the quality he possesses on the field. How do you see him, and where are you expecting him to be in the next few years?
Lomote is a fantastic player. He has the attributes of every striker you can think of. He's sharp, technically he's proficient, physically he's strong, and he has that confidence that sometimes I try to understand. He's so confident in himself that he can score in every game, and that makes him unique. Coaching Lomote has not been that difficult because he knows what he wants, and he's always trying to make the effort to get the goals. I am of the view that in the near future we should see Lomote making it into the national team from what I'm seeing about him, because actually, even though the injury to him was a big setback for him, I think his comeback has been phenomenal. And that is why I am confident that, I mean, the next 1 or 2 years, we should see him maybe being given the opportunity in the national team. Because if you look at how his injury came about and how he has stayed for that long, and then he just came back and he's banging in the goals, it tells you naturally he has that goal scoring instinct. It's inherent, it's part of him. So I am of the view that, I mean, in the near future, Lomote, if he keeps training the way he's training, we should be able to see him contributing his quota to the national team.
Let's talk about leaders. Coach, the most important thing, the most difficult part of coaching is selecting a captain. I mean, leadership, it's what they says, very difficult to get because the instinct, the qualities of every person is different. How do you select these kids, and how do you put up a leader to lead the team?
Yeah, the first thing is they are playing football, so he should be outstanding. That's the first thing.
What do you mean by outstanding?
Outstanding in terms of playing. I mean, he should be, let me put it this way rather, more or less, in quote and unquote, an outstanding player in terms of his play on the field.
Okay.
Yeah, he should stand tall amongst the rest of his colleagues. That's one thing. And the next thing is his ability to communicate and encourage the rest of the teammates. He should be able to communicate to them. You see, the captain should be a replica coach on the field. He should be a photocopy of you on the field. When the going gets tough, he should be able to encourage them that they can do it. So I look at that one too. Then I look at how confident he is. Is he a confident person? Because remember, the captain is the only person who can talk to the referee on the field, and he has to do this humbly and respectfully, and he should be intelligent. So he needs to be very confident to be able to approach the referee and then discuss issues with him. And this means that his knowledge about the laws of the game should also be very high, because you are going to communicate with somebody who is interpreting the laws on the field. So you should have knowledge about what you are going to say to the referee. So I also look at his knowledge base with respect to the laws of the game. And then finally, how he carries the team along. Yeah, these are some of the things that I will look out for in the captain.
I'll commend Wafa doing good, because out there, your name is very excellent. One, because when we visited the school,
Comboni Technical Vocational School.
Yeah. We visited good words of discipline, words of good timing. Even though these are players, everybody is saying good things about them. In terms of school, how do you put them together for them to be disciplined? And because they are saying that the exact time they are there, their training time they are there. I mean, how do you do all these things?
Because myself, I'm disciplined, and per the philosophy of the school, one of the philosophies of the school, or one of the principles of the school, is that you don't have to be late for any function. So if you are coming to training and you are late for a moment, a certain amount of money is deducted from your salary. So yeah, if training time is 3 o'clock, you have to be there by 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even have to be there by 3 o'clock. You have to be there by 2:45, and the coach is supposed to be there by 2:30, 30 minutes to set up the place. Similarly, if they are supposed to go to school, they are supposed to be in school around 8 a.m. By 7:30, we make sure that they are there. So the principles have been set up by the school.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm disciplined. Everywhere I've coached, they will tell you I don't joke with my time. Even back at the university, if I have a lecture at 10:30 and you come 10:31, you don't enter my lecture theater. Yeah, that has been one of my fundamental principles, because time, as they say, is money, and we need to respect time. So with regard to the question, I think it has been my trait, and in addition, the principles that have been set by the school. So it is making it relatively easier for me to instill discipline in them. And if you look at this group of players, they are not like the previous WAFA team that you are all aware of. But because of discipline, they are playing as if it's a great team. Yeah, that is it. Discipline has been our hallmark.
So if you say as if it's a great team, it means they are not great yet?
Comparative to the previous teams. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Comparative, don't get me wrong. Comparative to the previous generations. I mean, we have to be sincere.
Of course.
We have to be sincere. Yeah. I believe in being honest.
They played for quite a while together.
Yes.
Almost 2 seasons.
Yes. And they were an excellent team. Yeah. Comparative to this team, this team has not gotten there. Perfect. Yeah. If this team is great, then they are greatest.
All right, Coach. I mean, as we enter into the community, the people seem to rally behind you. Do you really get that sense of support from the community? Sure.
They like us. They collaborate with us. When we have matches, they come in their numbers to sing, dance, and ensure that everything that we need emotionally to play, they provide them for us. And one thing I like about them is when anytime they see you, it's like, Coach, we are winning. They are so optimistic about the team. One thing I've seen about them, they are of the view that even if you parade the under 12 boys in this school against any Premier Division team, they should win.
Okay.
And I like that confidence. So it gives me that motivation that if I do my things well, and the players.
Coach, I mean, you were in Kerala for only 3 weeks and you were bought. It can happen. Where you go elsewhere and do coaching. And I believe you wouldn't want to stay in one place for a while. Because me, when BBC come and go, when CNN come and go, Coach, are you looking at yourself being elsewhere? Or the usual answers? I'm here, so I'll be here.
Yeah, for now, I mean, this is my second year. I mean, I'm enjoying my job, my relationship with the MD, the management, the players, so great. They've given me the opportunity to study their way of doing things and giving me the full opportunity to take control of it. So I'm enjoying myself here. And as I said earlier on, one thing I like about this place is that I am always learning. Yeah. I am always learning. So it's that thing that keeps me, I mean, going here. But then everybody wants to move on. I mean, you can't stay at one place forever. Yeah. So with time, if I think I have paid my dues enough for this school and I think I have to move on, I will move on. But I have to do it in such a way that, I mean, I can come back with my family to even come and visit them. The transition in terms of if I want to move should be a cordial one. Like, it should be more or less like a photocopy of how they poached me to come here. When I'm leaving, I have to sit down with them, engage them, give them reason or reasons why I think I have to move on. And it shouldn't be a sudden thing so that they will be found wanting. When it happens that way, I wouldn't be fair to them. So probably I have to give them prior notice, longer notice, so that if they want to bring in somebody, by the time I'm exiting, that person will also be on the ground so that the transition will be a smooth one. So, I mean, everybody wants to move ahead. So with time, if I think that I've contributed my quota to the growth and development of football in WAFA and I have to move on, I think I will move on. But those opportunities should be bigger than what I'm seeing here.
Ghanaian coaches and expatriate coaches, it seems that the expatriate coaches are giving the nod and the local coaches, maybe lack of respect for them is a problem. How do you see this? Are the qualities of Ghanaian coaches not good enough?
I think the first one, I'll go by the second one that you said. I think this is lack of respect for the local coach. I don't know whether it's because of the color, because as I sit here, I don't see those expatriate coaches that are in the country being better than me because I understand the game and I teach the game even at the university. So when it comes to the content of the game and its application, as I sit here, Dr. Prosper Narteh Ogum, I don't see that expatriate to be better than me. Yeah, sure. But the issue is that it has been a perennial thing where the local football administrator doesn't respect the local coach. And I remember we going for a coaching course and some administrators came around and jokingly one made a comment. And let me say it in Twi and I'll translate. Just listen to this. Do you think that the matches you play and win, you are the people who win? No, we play the matches for you.
Like the old adage where we are going to wait against
So I don't know where that mentality is coming from. Yeah. But I think that the indigenous Ghanaian coach of today is well equipped to coach like the so-called expatriate coach. If and only if, and listen to me carefully, if and only if he's given the same equal playing field in terms of issues of accommodation, issues of remuneration, issues of healthcare, everything. That support that we give to the expatriate coach, if we give, I tell you, half of that support to the local indigenous coach, he will be better. Because the local coach understands the growth and development of the game and how the behavioral characteristics of the typical Ghanaian player, he understands him. So he will be able to cope and manage well with those players. But unfortunately, the expatriate coach comes and then he hides behind the assistant coach who is a local coach and then gains the glory and he goes away. So I am of the view that the expatriate coach is not better than the local coach. The Ghanaian coach is better. Let's change that perception about the Ghanaian coach, the indigenous Ghanaian coach. Give him all the necessary support. See him to be full of football knowledge, full of football intelligence, capable of being independent. Let's take issues of interference from the issues of or the affairs of the indigenous Ghanaian coach, and I tell you, we will all be amazed. Because if you don't interfere in the affairs of the expatriate coach, why do you want to interfere in the affairs of the indigenous Ghanaian coach? So I am of the view that the Ghanaian coach has come of age and is well positioned to coach and coach well and change the game in Ghana.
Coach, I'm very grateful for your time. I'm hoping that this